Good morning to everybody out there. All right, so I guess we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. Essence, how you feeling today?
I'm doing good. You're looking handsome in that suit, though.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. You look beautiful yourself.
Don't tell anyone. I said, I'm sorry. We're on stage. Okay. We are going to be discussing how to build a recession-proof real estate portfolio. So, as we all know, when you're thinking about real estate, some people get a little nervous, especially when you've never done it before. So that was definitely the case with us. I'll let him start on what we will be covering so you guys can kind of listen and follow, and you can take notes if anything sticks out to you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, the first time that I ever wanted to invest in real estate, it was kind of scary, Essence, and anything you do for the first time is always something that, you get nervous about.
So what are the top 7 that we're going to discuss?
Well,
Do you remember?
the top 7 that we're going to talk about is,
Yes.
I would say, maximizing the cash flow. You're going to be talking about reducing your debt, increase of your liquids, diversifying your assets, consider risk and yield, and buy and hold real estate, and invest in primary markets,
Okay, so is there anyone out here who has a property, an investment property? Anyone? Okay. I love it. I love that, an investor. It's a good feeling,
It is a good feeling, yes.
So in terms of investing, the reason why we chose to do it is because we were like, okay, we own this income tax service, and that's great. We're helping all of these people, but we need a way to make passive income. And that's, to me, making money in my sleep. So I was like, okay, what is something that we can invest in? A way to give us cash flow without having to work hard. And Steven had the brilliant idea of having us hire a coach, because most people, when they try to go about it on their own, sometimes you just don't know, so you just like asking a friend or doing your own research. But it's always smart to get a coach, someone who's been doing this, that can make suggestions for you. So what we did was we did hire a coach, which happens to be, how did that process work with the coach?
Okay, so basically that goes into like doing analysis in markets, because you don't know all of the markets right off. So you want to hire someone that, you want to hire a team that can do the background, can do the legwork, that knows that local market, and that can get some things moving quicker than what you can do versus you doing it by yourself.
That's a great point. And I feel like in real estate, it's about instinct versus knowledge. So, for example, my instinct was like, we're from Chicago, so that's where I want to start. I want my first property to be exactly where I live. And then the knowledgeable part is, don't go based off of your emotion. So my emotion was like, well, what if somebody does something? I have to set it up. The property, it'll be right there. I can visit it, check on my property whenever. That's what I was thinking, until my coach was like, no, there's a better way you can go about this. So, of course, we all want our dream home and things like that, but we were a little non-traditional. We decided to invest in a property. So she said that it could possibly bring us cash flow and equity. And I learned really fast from her that making this decision was going to be very important for our future as well as for our children. So when talking about the first thing we did hire, of course, the coach. And she said the first thing you want to do is pick a property that is in a recession-resistant city. So even though we live in Chicago, we decided to get our property in Memphis, Tennessee. So the first thing, a lot of people were looking at us crazy like, what? Have you visited the property? Do you even know where it is? Yes, it's in Memphis. What do you mean? Memphis. You live in Chicago. And I'm like, I know. But my coach said to get it in Memphis. So she showed us the numbers. And I learned that it's a difference between cash flow and equity. So what is cash flow? Cash flow is the amount of income that a property produces after all the operations and expenses have been paid. And equity is the market value of the home minus what you still owe on it.
Now,
So,
Essence.
go ahead.
So what would you say about equity and cash flow? So with you breaking that difference down, what would you say that out there to, our listeners, what should they focus on first?
I would say in a recession, you definitely want to focus on the cash flow, maximizing your cash flow, because you need money, right? And when you're getting a property, it's important to look at the market. You want to look at the surrounding properties as well to see what they are actually going for in value, and that will help decide if this property is really worth getting. Another thing is she was able to send us a list of properties. So we didn't just see properties in Memphis, Tennessee. We've seen properties in Alabama and other states. And most people would not choose this as a first option because, again, your instinct kicks in and you feel like, oh, no, I can't visit the property. I don't know what's going on at the property. So this was a great investment for us. And we didn't have a lot of stress with this. It was a smooth transition. And I just want to tell you some ways that you can maximize with the cash flow. So if you have a property and you want to maximize the cash flow on that property, you can actually increase the rental fees for that property. You can add coin machines, which we did not do. You can allow pets and just charge a fee. If you can have pets, but it'll be a fee. We have been familiar with that. How many people have pets, by the way? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I do. I have a pet, too.
So I
have a
charge
fish.
you a fee,
I have a fish.
a good fee.
Okay.
So you can also refinance on your loan, and you can get a lower interest rate. So that's another way to kind of increase your cash flow, and this can help improve and give you sufficient equity as well in this.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's the
that
cash
is
flow.
some good key points. And also, let me elaborate just a little bit. I think it's also important for for our viewers to understand that 1% rule too as well. So
What's that?
when you're getting your property, the 1% rule is what most investors use to determine how much of the rent, or give them an idea of how much of the rent they should charge the renter. Of course, you want to go by the value of other homes, but there are other fees that the investor may accumulate as far as management fees, and depending on the type of the local area you're in, that management company may charge you an 8% fee. It may be a 10% fee. So you want to value, what is that? Your mortgage. You want to times that by 1%, and you want to get close to that 1% as possible so that you can see like some type of cash flow.
That's good. That's good. Where did you learn that at? You're so intelligent.
Oh my God.
I married someone that's very intelligent.
Why, thank you.
So the next point is you want to consider the risk and yield with your property. So you have to be savvy in investing. And like I said, the key is a coach. Wink, wink. So I don't have to do a lot of work. My coach can tell me, Essence, this is really a good investment. Let me show you why. And he or she will guide me on what to do. So you want to keep your debt low in the resistant. It's tempting to invest in a high-risk property, but you definitely don't want to do that during a recession. It reduces your debt load, and it's a good way to preserve your portfolio. Anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, definitely. Preserving your portfolio is everything, and how you set it up, your entities, and depending on the type of properties that you might want to accumulate. Like for your first property, you might want it to be a wholesaling property because you may not have that 20% to put down. Okay, and so you want to diversify those properties. So number one, you want to go into like doing a wholesaling property. Number two is to save you money, you can do a fix and flip.
What property did we get that we started with?
Oh, I believe we started with a long-term investment property because it was more so, it wasn't, for us, I feel like it wasn't so much of the cash flow. That property, I believe, was an equity builder. So sometimes having that long term and building equity is more important than the cash flow. But it just depends on what's your plan, and how you set up your portfolio starting out will determine, how far you want to go with your recession proof.
I like that answer. And also, when you are investing in a property, the value of the home is important. So depending on where you get the home will determine how much equity you can build quicker. So that pretty much explains that. Another tip is during a recession-proof, how to make your real estate portfolio recession-proof, you want to buy and hold. So when you're just investing in a property, it's tempting and it's so exciting. Like you see all of this equity built up and you're like, okay, I'm ready to sell it because I see the numbers going up. But another thing that they suggest is to hold that property. You want to buy and hold the property because you can actually refinance on that property and you can do it over and over again. And if you buy and hold the property over time, then it will build, like I said, the equity, and it will be very lucrative for you, and it will just keep you stable during a recession. So when you hold the property, you can continue to rent to your tenant either month to month or 1 year. For us, we actually had a 2-year lease term for our tenant. So that actually helps too because they're under a 2-year lease. So they're going to be there for that period of time. And if you were like a commercial investor, it would be best to do a long-term lease for your tenant as well. That would help in a recession. Anything you want to add for that?
Oh yeah, definitely. So and also depending on the appreciation of that property, that area, like that's very important too. We can maximize on that because when you purchase property, there are like some downsides to that property. So what we want to do is we want to accumulate as much equity as possible.
So how do you feel having a tenant that pays the rent every month?
Well, it feels good.
Does it help you sleep better?
It does. Yes, because you definitely. And if you can maximize on getting a property with a tenant that's already in there, that'll save you time and money too. Because once you purchase a property and you don't have that tenant, you're responsible for a lot of the maintenance. Yes,
that's what happened to us. It took about maybe 2 to 3 months to get a tenant, so we were responsible for the utilities and things like that. But the stress left once the tenant got in there, and we were able to hire a property manager, and they were responsible for actually filling our property, which helped as well. It gives you confidence as an investor, like, okay, I have a property manager, so we don't have to deal with the tenant. The property manager does everything, and we just see the investment come to us in our bank account every month. So that's great. Another point we're going to talk about is how to diversify your portfolio, which will help you make that recession-proof happen in a real estate. So you want to trust that there is no foolproof real estate investment, but there are some asset classes that are more prone to withstand the economic variations. Some great options would be multi-family homes. You can do student off-campus housing. A lot of people don't know about that. Senior housing, or even short-term leasing. One of the things that we chose to do is the turnkey model, where the property is already fixed and renovated for you, and you just, take the property as, after the renovation, and you're good to go, and they just fill that property with that tenant.
Yes.
Anything you want to expound on?
Oh yeah, definitely. You just mentioned about short-term rentals too. So a lot of Airbnb is popular, especially when it comes to like college students and in areas of where people are going to travel. That's a good way to capitalize on cash flow too as well.
That's awesome. That's excellent. Now, there are some things that people will try to sell you sometimes. I know, I'm going to be real about this. Some places I go to, they'll be like, okay, do you want to check out this 1 hour presentation? We're going to show you this. And then at the end, they're going to ask you a question, but you have to stay for the whole thing. That's called a vacation home. You don't want to invest in that. It's definitely not recession-proof. Hotels are not recession-proof. Neither is the retail. So because the reason why these things are not recession-proof is because during a recession, a lot of people have to stay home. So it takes a big dip, and it just would not help you at all to invest in those things.
So you mean you're going to help me save money by this? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Stay away from those tours or wherever they say, come over here. No, I'm okay over here. Now, another way to diversify your portfolio is equity investment, real estate investment rules, and treasury inflation protection security. So that is another way. It's so many different ways. And I just want to make sure you guys understand that you don't have to do it alone. It's okay to have a great team that knows a little more than you that can share their knowledge, and that would eliminate so many mistakes and losing money, because we do not like to lose money. So anything else?
Yeah, so definitely. Also a part of the process too is depending on which route you want to go with your properties, how you want to set it up as far as with your LLC. If you want to have an LLC for your properties, especially like if you're married, you and your spouse, I believe the maximum number is 20. So your spouse can get 10 properties and you can get 10 properties. And then you want to be at the number of 20 properties. And if you go on the mortgage route, sometimes it's okay not for both spouses to be on the mortgage, to be on the...
Oh no. What? No, I'm just kidding. Why is that?
You know why? Because that limits the amount of properties that you can get. So you might want to do it to where one spouse gets a property, and then you wait 6 months, and then the other spouse gets a property, and then you just take turns getting a property if you choose to go the mortgage route.
I love that. So I think we covered all of the ways to build your portfolio. So now, if you have any questions about what we just covered, feel free to raise your hand. And if you don't have questions, I like that. That means I explained a lot.
Yeah. So anybody have any questions? Oh, yeah, we have
Excuse
someone.
me. Yeah, I have one question for you. It's just go back to what you were discussed about cash flow and equities. When you're talking about that, for the first 5 years, if we invested in property to lend, how much we should looking for the return on investment, like for the first 5 years of investment?
Oh, that's a good question. So depending on how the property appreciates for every year, the analysis will give you a calculation based on the area and around the other homes that are valued at, and then you will have an increase depending on what your mortgage interest is for that year. So you can scale it. It's supposed to go up, I believe, 3% every year. So that would be where it would be at for you.
Thank you. So we should looking for 3% at least.
At least a minimum.
At least, right? Minimum one.
Yes.
That's good. Because in Thailand, and with my experience, it will be about 5 to 6%. So, but maybe in during the COVID-19, it's less.
Yes,
So
that is great. Yes,
your
you
session
don't
will
want to
be-
go under
yeah.
3%, definitely. So if you're at 5, you're at a good increase.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Hi. So the question I have, when you were talking about with you and your partner alternating buying properties, is it a good idea or maybe not a good idea at perhaps because I guess initially you don't want to do it because it limits how much money you can borrow if you're going the mortgage route, right? So is it a good idea to maybe later add that person on, or can you add that person onto the ownership of the property?
Yeah. So basically, you don't want to add your spouse or the other person onto that mortgage, but you can add that person onto the title. Okay, does that?
Because you're married, so whatever you have is mine anyway. So, yeah. So we learned that from our coach. Like, you both don't have to be on there. You are married. So.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
So
Okay.
it would limit us
Right.
to how many properties we could get. So just like
Right.
he's like, how many properties does he have? Like 100,000 or?
No, probably about 50 properties. Yeah, about
Well,
50.
he knows a lot. So
Wow.
we're trying
Yeah.
to get to his level. We have one property and I guess 49 to go.
Excellent, excellent. And then the other question I have is kind of a little bit off topic, but because you're in kind of a unique situation, being a married couple and running a business together, what are some of the challenges? What are some of the ways that enhances your business?
He learns very fast. The ladies first. But I think that the power is in exchanging your hat. So for me, I'm a mom, right? I'm a wife, and then me being the co-founder and VP. And the first thing is having respect for each other and knowing that when you're at work, that's the work hat. So even though he's my husband, he still kind of runs the business. He's like the face. So I have to yield and let him be the face. I can't be like, well, I'm your wife. I can't put on the wife hat in the business. Now, when we leave work, then we can transfer hats, and then he becomes my husband and I become the wife. So you just have to kind of give each other opportunity to grow and in their own right, be individuals, but you can still cheer each other on. So we're definitely a power couple, I would say, and we are ready to dominate and be an inspiration to others.
And to add to that, don't take it personal, and don't take your work at home. Once you're done with work, you're done. You got to have fun too as well.
In criticism, one other thing, because your mate may say something to you, and this is in a professional way, and you're like, why did my wife say this, or why did my husband say this? But you have to kind of take heed to their professional expertise. So if he tells me something that I really don't want to hear, I'll listen, because he's not talking as my husband, he's being the professional. So, okay, I'll listen to the professional, but not my husband.
And vice
maybe
versa.
I will.
Right, and vice versa. I have to, the same energy that she gives me, I have to reciprocate it.
That makes sense. And then also another point where you're in a special situation is that your kids are part of the company as well, and they're very young. So when they get grounded, are they not allowed to go to work, or how does that work? Or are you training them to go into finances and real estate?
They're very special kids, I would say. The oldest, he's 6, so he just graduated from kindergarten, and he's doing presentations on Africa, Asia, and things like that. So he sees what we're doing, and it's inspiring him that not just to be an entrepreneur, but he can do anything. So he wants to be like a artist. He wants to be a gymnast. He's like, okay, this is my office. So I'm like, okay, you have to clean at your office. So when he's there, he's like, Mom, where's the broom and where's the mop? But I'm like, please don't do this in front of the clients because I don't want them to think anything. He loves it. He's like, okay, where's the broom? Where's the mop? And you know, the 3-year-old, he's right behind him. Okay, I want the broom. I want the mop. And just to see mom and dad being able to operate functionally, you know, and get the job done, it inspires them as well.
And also, some of the things that we teach them about leadership is that you can own your craft. And in anything that you want to do in your profession, you know, you can become, you can actually own it. So, you know, you have to learn those leadership skills, and teaching them has been amazing. I mean, to see kids like take ownership of what they love to do. Like, you know, like my son told me, like, he like, Dad, he loves tumbling. So he considered himself a gymnast. And he said, you know what, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna build me a team of gymnasts. It ain't gonna be just me. So that right there just, you know, it just made me light up and say, oh yeah, you have that entrepreneurial spirit.
And I'm already teaching him about money, you know, and they know about money at a young age. They want McDonald's, that's money. They want $1, you know, even the 3-year-old. So I just feel like it's important to not limit your kids. And you can also be honest with them, because no, everything won't be perfect. Like sometimes we'll have disagreements, but then that's when you kind of have to show them how to handle conflict. And they see how we resolve conflict, and that allows them to be successful as well.
Nice, nice. And then the final question I have is, so in trying to make things like recession-proof, especially in real estate where there's so many factors that can go into it, and there's so many predictors, like nowadays there's all AI and all different kinds of things, predictors, like what do you use as your guide to kind of see? Because like right now, especially in the US, where there's all these question marks about the possible future of the economy, the stuff that's going on politically. They just froze interest rates for the first time, I think, in like 2 years. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, what do you use as like predictors of possible recession coming in?
Yeah, so definitely. So what we do is we always go back to our team, and we kind of do an analysis checkup on the properties around in the area to see. We do like a 5-year plan, you know, a short-term goal as to what these properties will look like, and then that will give us some type of what we can idea of where we would be at in those next 5 years.
We definitely couldn't do this alone. It takes a team in everything you do, and it's okay with whatever you're trying to do. If you're not, you know, sure about it, you can always have an expert that is willing to kind of share the knowledge, and that'll save you a lot of time and money in the end.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Excellent questions. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys so much for having us. And yeah, thank you.